peeps? Shay with O.W.N Health and Strength, and today we're doing A.C.3. So it's for one of my clients. This program is designed for him and it complements the stuff that we're doing together. But we're focusing on running and endurance. We're focusing on making sure in that running and endurance that hips are stacked, and that way he actually has like power from his glutes. Balance is always kind of like an underlying thing that we're working on, and then we're taking a little bit easier as far as like dynamic stuff, just because some things came up that we're working through and I want to make sure that we're not overdoing it. So we are going to start with foot wiggles. So big toe and little toe wiggles to start. You're going to grab your pinky toe knuckle and your big toe knuckle and kind of just like shimmy them. So your horizontal toe arch, you're pushing and pulling and trying to get more movement and space in there. And if it doesn't move that much, that's okay. Just try to think about it. And these bones are kind of like gliding forward and backward. So think about that while you're doing it. Feel free to like add extra toe massage or whatever feels right. Just kind of play around with that. And then when you feel like your toe arches are sufficiently wiggled, you're going to come to the middle of your long arch, right? So there's a joint right in there that you'll kind of feel like it feels like a bone. So you'll poke that. I usually do my right thumb on my arch, and then I kind of like bend my thumb under, so I'm like poking under the ball of my foot and kind of like pulling that bone forward. So I'm trying to get my big toe to glide forward more. So poking the arch and then kind of like wiggling that up and down and kind of like pulling it away from my middle arch, right? So again, trying to create more space and more glide, because when you run, the way your foot mechanics work, your big toe should be the last thing that comes off, and if it's not gliding, you're not getting the full force of your like glutes basically, because you don't have access to them because your leg isn't in the right position. So that's why we're doing this foot stuff. Do that until you feel okay. I allocate like about 2 minutes in the beginning. It doesn't mean you need to spend 30 seconds doing each thing on each foot. Do what you feel, but you got 2 minutes to do it. Then we're gonna do toe spread and toe scrunch. So I'm gonna show you for hands too, but you're gonna try and spread your toes as wide as you can for 3 seconds, and then scrunch them as tight as you can for 3 seconds, and you're gonna do that 5 times. And then if you're gonna cramp, see if you can like breathe your way out of it. 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and then do that 5 times, or more if you want, but if you feel a foot cramp coming on, you can stop, it's okay. And then we're gonna have you do single leg ankle circles. So I would like you to try them standing. You can be near a thing if you want, or if you want to be fancy, you can stand with your arms overhead or anything in between. So I'm going to show you one side without anything extra. So right here, think about trying to make the smoothest ankle circle you can. So if you have like crunchies, make your circle smaller and see if you can get it to a point where you don't have crunchies. So mine is very tight. And you'll do 5 seconds out to the right, 5 seconds in to the left, and then overhead option. Arms are overhead, so you're super, super long. Lift up from your trunk and do the same thing. So you're challenging balance and proprioception again because your arms are elongated. But this one is helpful for runners because you're trying to make sure that your hips are nice and stacked versus being here, right? So any sort of example or any sort of like movement you can get in where you're elongating your torso versus kind of sinking into it is gonna be good. So 5 each direction on each leg there. Then we're going to do calf raise to bent knee lower. So I'm gonna show you over here. All of the stuff that you've done so far is leading you to this moment. So you worked on getting your toe arch more mobile, your mid arch more mobile, you just did some ankle circles, so those are nice and smooth. And now we're going to do calf raises with all of that newfound awareness, right? So think about spreading your toes, push them like into the ground, almost as if you're trying to like push your feet through the floor as you come up into your calf raise. Don't go too high, so go where you feel like active in your calves and feet, and then bend your knees over your toes and let your ankles slide back. So we're trying to stretch the soleus as we go down. So slow, eccentric motion as you go down. Lift up, bend forward, go down. So something that also happens really commonly with these is when people are going down, it kind of like quivers. I'm also people in this case. That's your body trying to figure out what to use, which means there's something tight. So poke around in your calves and see if you have like a tight rope right here, or if there's a tender spot, and then just kind of like wiggle it, rub it, see if you can get it to feel a little better, and try it again, see if it helps. So you're gonna do up to 10 of those, and then you can repeat any of that if you want, or we'll move on to the next little box on the program, which is starting with lying banded neck slides. So I have this loop band. You can do this with any kind of band or no band at all. So you're gonna place, if you have your band, place it at the base of your head where your head and neck kind of meet. And then you're gonna extend your arms out long, lie on your back. And so the band doesn't have to have a ton of resistance. I don't really feel a ton, except I feel something touching the back of my neck. And that's really all you need for this one. So you're gonna take a big breath in. As you exhale, think about sliding your head back towards that band. Inhale to relax wherever your head wants to go. Exhale, slide back. So I don't really know how much this is going to show on the video because it's a really tiny movement. There's two little muscles at the base of your head that connect to your neck, and those are the ones that we're trying to target. So next thing we're going to do, also with a band, it doesn't have to be a looped band, but it is a little easier, and I'm using a looped one so the cues match that, right? So you're going to have your left leg anchored, so that way you feel your left glute kind of solid and you feel your trunk kind of solid, so you're not feeling wiggly when you're on the ground. Curl the band up so you're kind of curling with your biceps, palms face your shoulders, and chest stays open. So the band is in like mid-foot. I'm going to spread my toe arch, which is going to get annoying that you're going to hear me say it so much, but big toes. And then kick your heel forward and try and make your leg as long as possible, with your heel being the furthest thing away, and then bring it back up. If that resistance is too much, go down, that's totally fine. And then drive forward as you exhale. Inhale to bring it back. And if you're feeling kind of squirrely, that's fine. That's something that you gotta work on. That's why you're doing this. So really think about creating that length in that leg. And when I say push your heel forward, it's so that way you're really extending through the back of your leg, which is going to help with running as well, because you need to make sure that your leg is solid in that full extended position. And Seattle's got some sketchy sidewalks. Like if you run outside at all, you need some give everywhere, right? So we'll have you do 5 breaths each side there. Then we're going to do single arm rotational overhead press, or as we call them in the gym, satchels, because Satchel Paige did these, and that's why part of why he was so prolific and so healthy, being able to pitch that much, right? So you are going to start with your dumbbell. So lightweight, like 5 pounds maybe. Doesn't have to be heavy because this is an arm rotation function thing, not like a massive strength thing where you've got to put a heavy weight on it, right? So palm starts out facing your face, elbows kind of like scooped in, right? And you're going to inhale as you go up. So you're going to slowly turn your thumb toward your face, out and around. Inhale, feel a nice long side body stretch. Exhale, bring it back down and reverse that twist. So I tend to put my hand here because I have a tendency of doing this, and this helps me keep everything kind of scooped under. So inhale, reach up, exhale, lower back down. So 5 breaths each side there. Again, inhaling as you go up, and then that's going to help warm your shoulders up for what's to come. We're going to move on to internal torque chain squats. So your internal torque chain is everything that kind of like supports your spine. Deep frontal line, anatomy trains, stuff like that. So how you're going to activate it is you're going to press your fingers like ET fingers, right? Push those together and then mush your hands together and push them, like have as much surface area on your hands touching each other as possible. And then you're going to push your elbows out to the side. So you'll feel like when you're pushing, you should kind of feel like your arms, your chest, your abs, and maybe even quads to start. And go into whatever squat stance you feel comfortable with, right? So feet nice and grounded, toe arch nice and spread. Think about just like being really strong from there, and you already feel engaged when you're even standing. It's not just the bottom of the squat that's hard, right? From here, you're going to keep that pressing together. Slowly lower yourself down to where you can keep that tension pressing, and then slowly come back up. Pay attention to what your feet are doing. So like I felt my right foot a lot more than my left foot, so I probably shifted a little bit, which is something I'm working on. But side view, really don't stress too much about how deep you're going. It doesn't really matter. It matters more that you're moving in the mechanics. And this internal torque chain is also going to help keep you upright and stacked like we were talking about for running. And it also helps with balance. So hands pressing here, squat down as low as you feel you can stay engaged, and then come back up. So 5 or more of those, really kind of feel it out, and each rep is probably going to feel a little bit different because you're going to feel something new as you get more range of motion and everything like that. So stay aware as much as you can of what you're doing, stay like present in your body, and stay tuned for the strength part. Woo, strength stuff. So thank you for doing the first portion of the workout. That is progressively leading you to being ready to do this part, right? So all the foot stuff made it so that way you could do the lying band press, and the rotational overhead press is going to help you with double dumbbell squat to push press for 8 to 12. So your breathing is also something that's super important on all these things, but you're going to get your dumbbell set up. Think about kind of scooping your elbows in, so that way it's just going to hug your shoulder into socket. Use the single arm rotational overhead press that we did earlier. And you're going to get to your squat stance. Hopefully the internal torque chain squats help you kind of figure that out. So you'll squat down, and then breathe out, catch them back down, back down. So you are using the force that you're developing from your squat to help push you into that. That's why it's a push press, not a strict overhead press. So you're using a little bit of momentum to come up, and then you're catching the weight down on your shoulders and then bring it back down into your squat. So if this bothers your neck, go down and wait, see if it still does, and then message me if so, and then we'll figure out some other brainstorming stuff. But 8 to 12 of those. Then, once you've completed your double dumbbell push press, you're going to get down into a side plank. So elbow is going to be directly under your shoulder, and then your legs are going to be extended out. So again, that heel reaching away feeling, really think about being super long. You're going to lift yourself up. So make sure there's no rotation here. A lot of times people tend to kind of be closed. Open your heart, and you're going to reach your arm up. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, you're going to thread that needle through under your arm. Rotate through your ribs, and then inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. They may also be done knees. So inhale here. Exhale to close, inhale to open. Take your time with those. You're going to do 6 breaths each side. If you need a break in between, but you want to do the full length ones, that's fine. Just do what you can, right? And finally, we're going to do bike stuff. So you'll get onto whatever kind of bike you have. You're going to do 15 seconds. We'll call it like a warm-up, but 15 seconds at like 50% of what you could do. And then you're going to do 30 seconds at 75 to 80% of what you could do. So you step it up a little bit for 30 seconds, and then you go back to the 15 seconds of 50% effort, right? So have a little warm-up, have a little sprint, have a little cool down, and you'll do that each round. So it's a total of a minute on the bike. Good luck with your squats and side plank and bike stuff. Pay attention to how you feel. You don't need to kill yourself, but you want to kind of like push it. Make sure that you're feeling everything in the right sections, and let me know if you need help. Good luck, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.